Hello, hello. Put the volume up. Hey, staff. Chris, what's going on? Just give it about 2 more minutes and get going. Cooney, how you feeling, brother? Everybody, man, say hi to Cooney, man. Cooney's a great driver. Went through a lot, the COVID-19. So just everyone in here, man, keep Cooney in your prayers. Great friend. So he's going through a lot, you understand, through COVID-19. So please, everybody keep him in your prayers. It's about 8 o'clock. Wait about 2 more minutes and we can get going, guys. Just give some more people to come in. Why you say that, cuz? I'm getting old, right? Don't you start with this gray hair talk this week, man. And I'm not dying them, all right? Leave my gray hairs alone, cuz. Got 1 more minute. Jordan, what's going on? Victoria, how you doing? Hello? All right, guys. Where the truck is at? I know it's today Sunday. It's a beautiful day. As a matter of fact, I saw a post. I think a lot of drivers out there still protesting as well. So if they can join, we understand they're on the front line right now protesting and asking, for fair wages. It's not fair. These owner-operators are really hauling loads out here for peanuts, guys. And, these guys really kind of helped us throughout the entire epidemic of COVID-19 to deliver all our goods. But now these guys are facing the pain themselves and no one seems to be, fighting with them and they're all alone. So let's keep the truckers in our heart. All right, guys, it's 8:02, so let's get going. All right, everyone, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Truck Weekly Update with yours truly, Pierre Laguerre, CEO of Fleeting. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. Today was a beautiful day. People get to come outside, get to be ourselves again, coming out from lockdown. So today was a beautiful day and just hope that, we have a beautiful program today. As always, I'm not gonna take you guys hold you guys for too long. We're just gonna get straight to the point. And if you guys have any questions, and feel free to ask any questions right in the chat. So once again, early last week we covered about all brokers lowballing truck drivers, and we explained exactly what was happening in the space, why some drivers was getting these low margin loads. So today, this weekly update, we want to talk to you guys about how do you build your direct shipper relationship versus taking loads from a broker, and exactly what happened. What is the financial breakdown when you take a load versus from a broker or when you take it directly from a shipper? So that's what we want to talk about today. So as we understand trucking, right? So I'm going to kind of just go real quick. How did the broker come into the game? A lot of people really don't understand how did the broker come to existence into trucking. So in the early 80s, before truck got deregulated, shippers was having a hard time finding truckers to move their goods, right? So shippers used to go to truck stops themselves and put little notes on the wall or on driver's truck and say, hey, call this number, I have loads. So that's how shippers was finding drivers in the early 80s. So what the brokers did when they came in, they created a system that gave the shippers quicker access to real vetted truck drivers. But throughout that period of time, what they ended up doing, they ended up shipping power over to the shippers and kind of pretty much killed the truckers or the motor carriers, and pretty much they didn't have a voice. So it was a good way of shippers finding brokers, but we live in the 2020. We in the information age. There's no reason why a truck driver should be out here struggling because he only know how to take a load from a broker and he doesn't have the business acumen to go directly to the shipper and have that relationship himself. So as I explained to you, this is what the brokers did when they came in the industry in the early 80s, but they shift the powers now to the shippers. So the difference is when you take a load from a broker and when you take a load from a shipper. So let's say, for example, a shipper is shipping X, Y, and Z goods. Let's just say I'm going to use this example just from New York to Virginia. And let's say the shipper is paying $1,200 for that load. So what happens is that shipper gives that load to a broker, right? And gives the broker, let's say the shipper gives the load to a broker for $1,000. Now that broker is gonna take that load, post it on a load board. Now, when you're on an operator that's taking loads from a broker, you have to have your DOT number, you have to have your MC number, you have to have your general liability insurance, and you must have cargo coverage to be able to take a load from a broker. So once the broker posts that load on the load board, that broker automatically want to shave 20-30% off that load. Once again, if that load was paying $1,000, that broker shaved 20% off that load, so that load is left with $800. So the driver don't know no better. The driver call a broker to negotiate, agree. The broker gives the driver the rate confirmation. Driver accept the load at $800, right? So now after that driver completes that load, brokers usually take about 30 days to pay their invoices, right? So a driver don't have the bandwidth to wait for 30 days to receive payment from a load that he done yesterday, right? He want to get paid right away so he can keep it running. So what happened is that driver will do the load for the 800, right? And then the broker will turn around. Some brokerage firm, they have their own factoring company. And what they will do is they'll ask that driver, hey, do you want us to factor that invoice for you where you can receive your payments in 24 to 48 hours or maybe in 3 days? And that comes with another 5% fee, right? So now that driver has to give another $50 out of that 800 to receive his money early. So now he only makes $750, remember, on a load that was paying $1,000. So he pretty much lost a quarter of that load by going to the broker to get the load. Now, what is the difference is when that driver get that load from the shipper? Now, in order for you to get your load directly from the shipper, that does require a little bit more work. It requires for you to think like a business and really act like a business. You really have to have that business acumen and really start speaking to the shippers. And how do you do that? One website that you guys really can start with is thomasnet.com, right? What that website is, pretty much even all brokers use that website. That website will give you every supplier, every manufacturer across North America and what it is that they're manufacturing, where they're shipping them to, and where they're having headaches shipping those product that they build. So once you get the information, and like I said, thomasnet.com will give you the location, email address, phone number you can call. But how do you build that relationship? Who do you talk to when you're calling those shipping companies? So the person that you need to look for when you're calling a shipper, that individual is called a traffic manager. A traffic manager is a person that works in the shipping department or a warehouse. That's the person that distributes the freight to all the brokers, to all the motor carriers, to all the people in their network. So they're called a traffic manager. So once you get the information and you start calling shippers, and once again, guys, you have to really think and act like a business in order to do that, because it does require a lot of phone calls. It requires, a lot of back and forth, and it's possible it can be done because this is exactly how the brokers go and build their shipper network, right? They call all these manufacturing companies, all the suppliers, and they also have salesmen that's calling these shippers every day. Now, I understand you guys, is not operating like a broker, but you are an operator. An operator means you are your own salesman, you are your own business rep, you are the driver, you are the business yourself. So I think it's very imperative that truckers learn that business acumen, that business skill, and speak to shippers and build those relationships directly. So let's go back to what we were saying. So now let's say now you're getting that load from a shipper directly that you've built a relationship with. So that same load that was going for $1,000, you will get $1,000 for that load, right? Now, shippers use brokers for another reason as well, is that brokers actually extend credit to shippers. Shippers usually take between 30, 90 days, and sometimes maybe 120 days for them to pay their invoice. So the reason shippers work really great with brokers is because brokers extend those credit to the shipping department, right? So now you as an owner operator, how do you get to do the same thing that the brokers does? So let's say, once again, the shipper gives you the load at $1,000. That's exactly what you get for the load. No one is taking no 20%, no 30% off that load. Now, after you complete that load for the shipper, I understand you, the driver, you don't have what it takes to wait for 30 days to get your payment. You can't wait for the shipper to pay you in 90 days. So what you can do yourself now is, this is where you yourself can now partner with a factoring company and extend that credit to a shipper. Right? So that shipper is going to do business with you in the simple fact alone that you can extend them credit and you can move their goods for them. So once you extend that credit to the shipper, this is how you start building that relationship directly. So you get the load for $1,000, you factor that bill, you pay somebody, you pay a factoring company between 3 to 5% out of that $1,000. You keep $950. You see the difference? From the broker, you only kept $750. From the shipper, you keep $950 on the load, and that's because you had to extend the credit to the shipper. However, yes, it may sound that simple, but it does require business acumen. It does require that human skill to speak to shippers, to call them and tell them exactly who you are, what type of equipment you holding, where you located, and what type of lane you usually run. And once you ask that shipper themselves, like, where do they have the most problem moving their freight? Where do they have the most problem outsourcing truckers or brokers to move those freight? And this is your job. This is your opportunity to get in, and you make that relationship with the shipper, and you can get into those lanes. Now, how that go is, the more you start doing these loads for the shipper, the more trust you earn from that shipper. This is how you really start building that relationship. So now, when you're ready to expand your fleet or expand your business, guess who's going to be your best friend and your best partner? That shipper that you've been delivering great quality service to, that shipper that you've been showing up on time and make sure that their goods get to their customers on time. That shipper is going to be a best friend to keep that truck moving at all times. So whether you go back to that shipper and say, hey, man, I got 5 more trucks, guess what? That shipper will be more than happy to do business with you and give you those loads, because you can save them on spot loads that they have to pay a brokers to get those loads to be moved. So that's how you can go about building a direct shipper relationship. Once again, website called thomasnet.com. You can find all the suppliers, all the manufacturers, understand lanes, understand commodities, understand which companies moving the most freight around our country, understand where they're having the most problem at. And once you find that and you understand it and you start speaking to these shippers, you can now start building your own relationship. You can now start building your own network of shippers. So now you don't have to deal with no middleman. Now I understand getting low from brokers is a lot more easier. You know, you don't have to really learn much. You don't have to really uncover much. It's just kind of like, you know, get your DOT, get your MC number, and pick up a load. Now, let me explain to you guys why is that bad, right? When you don't understand those unit economics that I speak about all the time and you're just taking loads, how does that affect the entire industry? So I'm going to give you a clear example between 2 different type of drivers that will accept that same load, but one driver will just kind of fight and the other one will just kind of accept anything they give him. So let's say, for example, I'm a truck driver or owner operator. I own a 1998 Freightliner, old beat up truck. The hood is falling up, lights is falling off, but that truck is still running on the road, right? My insurance more than likely is not that high on that truck. I have no truck payments on that truck. The only thing I have to worry about is maintenance and tires and oil change, right? And then you have the other driver, right, that's actually care about his appearance. He buys a decent truck, a 2016 or 2017. He didn't buy it cash, but that driver has a monthly note on that truck. Now, you're talking about a $60,000 truck or $50,000 truck. You can imagine what that insurance looked like on that truck, right? So your insurance is going to be a little higher on that truck. So when you put that person that owns the 2017 truck against that person that owns the 2008 Freightliner, right, or 1998 Freightliner, the difference is the person with the older truck, he doesn't have that much overhead, and the guy with the new truck, his overhead is a lot higher. So that guy, he has to fight with brokers to get a good load that can cover fuel, toll, maintenance, insurance, and of course something to take home. But the other driver, his insurance is not that high, so guess what? He'll take anything. So the driver with the new truck, he'll see a load for 1,000. He said, hey, look, man, I can't do that load for 1,000 because by the time I add it up, I won't make nothing, right? And then you have that driver that's driving an old beat up truck. Guess what he's going to do? He's just going to jump on that load and take it. And that right here is the problem. That creates a snowball effect in a market where brokers now start offering drivers these loads because you had a driver that really didn't have that much overhead that's running an old beat up truck out there just accepting anything. So the problem is not just the brokers, but also we have to talk about the drivers that are accepting these loads that makes brokers think it's okay to offer these loads to us from the first place. So once again, I'm not saying to every time I see an old truck on the road and just kind of scream at that driver and say he's messing up the game, because guess what? At the end of the day, that driver himself is not well educated, right? That driver don't know what he's doing. All he knows is like, hey, look, man, I see a load, I confirmed that I booked it and I got paid. That's all he knows. But he don't understand how that affect everyone else in the game. So in order for us to really change this problem, once again, truckers, owner-operators, future owner-operators, entrepreneurs, you really have to start putting your smart cap on and really act like a real business. Build relationship. Truck drivers, you are the representative of your business. You're the one speaking with the receiver. You're the one speaking with the shipper. You're the one opening the door. You're the one signing the bill of lading. You're the one that actually go inside of the location. So you have every access to build relationship with these people because they are key to your business and they are key to your operation. So while you're on the road, always think professionalism. And this is the thing where I will hold a lot of drivers accountable. There is bad players in everywhere in trucking. In the shipper side, on the motor carrier side, on the broker side, and yes, of course, on the driver side, we have some bad actors as well. So we have to recognize those things. And for us is, how do we create a ecosystem of drivers that's well educated, that understand their unit economics, that understand what it takes to take a load from a broker if they have to, and also what it takes to build direct shipper relationships. So this is why Fleeting exists. We want to create that ecosystem. We want to create that community where all truckers are well educated and understand and don't just settle for anything. So even that driver that's driving that beat up truck, if you see him on the highway, please send him to me. As my phone was just ringing, please send that driver to me. We can educate that driver together and create an ecosystem, create a community of smart, well-informed truckers that want to provide great quality services to these shippers out there. And I'm talking about truckers that wants to come to work on time, truckers that are reliable, truckers that are respectable. We even Fleeting, we don't just accept any drivers in our platform. We want all of our drivers to be very respectable, very time or like you have to be, how can I put it, like trucking have to be a thing for you, and you have to have it in you to want to win, to be part of this community. Because if you think you're going to be part of this community to accept load and then not show up, then you kill it for everyone. So we're welcoming truck drivers that are serious about their career, serious about building their truck businesses, serious about growing as an entrepreneur. They can join the Fleeting family, and we want to build that community for the long run. Because as we understand, as me myself, spending 16 years in trucking and driving every mode of transportation you could think of, tanker, flatbed, doubles, triples, done or more, and what I've seen is there is a lot more opportunities out here than we think there aren't, right? We just have to do the homework. But I do understand as a truck driver, it really takes a lot, and this is why Fleeting is building that community to get you guys together to build a real, true ecosystem that can help every shareholders win in transportation. Not just the shippers and not just the brokers, but the motor carriers, right? The guy that own that one truck, that owner operator that want to own a truck. Let's get them to win. So, guys, like I said, we here. We doing this every Sunday. Oh, as a matter of fact, we're moving this to on Thursdays. Pretty soon we're gonna have some owner operators on there as we're talking. We're gonna have a lot of industry leaders. We're gonna have shipping companies come onto the live as well, so they can educate truck drivers on how to make the best decision on getting their trucks. So like I said, at the end of the day, we wanna build that community. We wanna share knowledge with truckers. We want everyone to understand what it is that they need to know in order to, number one, to buy a truck. If they wanna buy a truck, exactly what is the best way to go about it and get the truck running, and what's the best way to get their business starting, to start moving shipments, and just, keep educating that community on how we build that ecosystem. Like I said, America is not short of trucks. Yes, we have a driver shortage, but the biggest problem we have in North America when it comes to transportation is optimization. So we're here to create that community so we can optimize the assets, the drivers that we have, so we all can have the best return possible. So guys, on Thursdays, stay tuned. We will be bringing up a lot of industry leaders. We will be bringing owner operators themselves, fleet owners, and they can speak to you directly about their pain and what they've done themselves to elevate that pain. So go ahead. This is once again Pierre Laguerre with Trucking Weekly. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them here. We're getting ready to answer all the questions now. Oh, Thursday at 7 p.m. Right? Make sure you log in every Thursday at 7 p.m. for the industry leaders that we're going to have in. And like I said, there's so much more information that we still have to put out as well. And like I said, we just don't want to be all over the place, just kind of like just talking. So this is why it's very important to build that community. So if you know anyone, if you know a truck driver or somebody that's thinking about becoming a truck driver, or someone that want to own a truck, that want to own a fleet of truck, doesn't want to drive it themselves, please direct them to here, so we all can get online and we all can educate each other together and build that process. So don't forget, any truck drivers, any friends, any future entrepreneurs, please bring them to the Fleeting page every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so we can get down to real business. It's 8:19. Let's go ahead. Let's open up the line. Let's take some questions for about 5 minutes, and definitely looking forward to having you guys again Thursday. So let me go back to the line. Questions. Any questions, anyone? Will this live be saved? Yes, it will be saved, Vicky. Thank you, Mish. Brokers are making a killing out there, Chris. You are absolutely right. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me stress a little bit something real quick, right? The reason why, when I was an owner operator, right, the reason why I went and took a supply chain course, it was because I wanted to understand who controlled the freight, right? So what I did, I went to Widener College and took a course in supply chain logistics. And what I've learned, man, it was mind blowing, right? And what really hurt me once I understood that whole concept was the fact that how am I the driver? I own the truck. I'm paying expensive insurance. I'm paying cargo insurance. I'm dealing with maintenance, and I have a truck payment, right? And I have to fight to get a good load to bring something home. Meanwhile, you got the broker, which is a smart business. I'm not knocking them, right? Meanwhile, you got the broker that stay at home, don't even have to leave his house. All he does is connect you from one load to another one, and this guy's making thousands, 100,000, and these companies are making billions annually, right? And they don't own no asset. They don't have to deal with the headache. But you own an asset, you own a truck, and you gotta go through hell to find a good paying load to even take care of that asset, to even take care of your family. And usually that's the problem with truck drivers. We run that truck so hard, we barely have time to take care of ourselves because we out here chasing. But I'll tell you this much. If you're out here chasing spot load, guess what? You in it for a long haul, man. You're going to be chasing for a very long time. Do not just build a business just on spot market. Question. Somebody said break down on the unit economics. So that one I would definitely need to have a spreadsheet and share my screen with you guys. But I could go into like kind of understand exactly what does that mean is. You understand your truck. You understand how much gallons you burn in per mile, right? You understand exactly what tolls you paying, depends on the lane that you're going into. So if you're running north, if you're running north, that comes with a lot of tolls. If you run in the Midwest come with a lot of hills. So that means those are the things that you have to understand, because this is how you do the math of understanding, does this load make sense for me? So for example, if you get a load for $1,000, you want to start calculating, okay, how much am I going to burn in fuel to get from point A to point B? How much am I going to spend in tolls, right? And how much am I going to pay the truck for maintenance? And how much am I going to pay the truck for the truck note and for the insurance? And after I make all these payments and put them aside, what is it that I'm taking home myself and paying myself? And also what it is that I'm paying the truck to put in a savings account. So great question right there, Chris. I think the next time I could definitely break the unit economics for drivers and show them on a spreadsheet on how to understand their truck and how to understand their numbers and how to make the best decisions. If they have to take a load from a broker, let's just say they're stuck somewhere and they have no choice, we have to show them how do they understand these numbers to be able to take that loads. But great question right there, Chris. Appreciate that. Somebody say, what's a truck usually cost to buy? A course can range from 100,000, 140,000 brand new to about 40, 50, maybe in 60,000. You can get a truck for 30,000 used, right? But what I recommend, keep it in the range around $50,000 to $60,000, because that just kind of tell you that truck is pre-owned. It wasn't owned by a bunch of parties. Usually these trucks are owned by a major corporation, major trucking companies that lease fleet for 4 years from the manufacturer, and then kind of send it back to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer sells these trucks for like $60,000, $50,000. They're usually good running trucks, well maintained. And a truck with $50,000, a brand new truck, the life expectancy on that truck could get you about 14, 15 years. So you're talking about if you're buying a used truck, well maintained, that truck can also give you a good 10 years as well, 7 to 10 years running of you, that $50,000 as investment that you've made in that truck. If you know how to truly run your truck, we can show you exactly how you make $4,000 or $5,000 a month in passive income by owning one truck that costs $50,000. So you do the math. You buy a truck for $50,000. Your truck is running. You're making a $4,000 passive income every month, right? So guess what? In 12 months, how much is that? You already made $48,000 in 12 months. So guess what? So that means in a year, you already made the money that you spent. You didn't even spend, you didn't buy the truck cash for $50,000, but you financed it. But in a year, you already recoup, exactly that total cost of that truck. So this is why it's important for you guys to understand entrepreneurship. And good question, guys, because a lot of exactly the course of truck. They don't understand how it goes about it. You know, what do they look for when they're buying a truck? What do they should look out for under the hood? A lot of people don't understand these questions. And once again, we want to educate everyone on how to make the best decision. The only way we're going to get that is stay tuned, stay in the community, where we'll be bringing to you guys all these resources on how you find the best truck from the best manufacturer with the best warranty in it, and get your truck registered, DOT number, get your permit, and get your truck running. So great question. If you guys want to know about trucking, want to get your own truck, and you think it's a little too expensive, you didn't know, here, now you know. Truck costs between $40,000 up to $130,000. It depends on what you're buying, but I'll say keep it at around $50,000, $60,000 to get you a good truck. Do I need good credit to get factoring? Nope. Good question, Jordan. Who's that? Jordan. Great question. No, you do not need credit to get factoring. However, how factoring work is that they know you the driver. They're willing to extend that credit to you, but the factoring company does a credit check on the shipper, on whoever's paying you, whoever's gonna pay you that invoice. That's who the factoring companies. That's what the factoring companies do their credit check to, right? Whoever's paying you, they check the shipper's credit. Does the shipper pay on time? Now, if that shipper already has good credit, 9 out of 10, you get approved from that factoring company. But the factoring company does not check your credit. Your credit has nothing to do with that to get your load factored to a broker. What's the best way to get a truck with no money down? Great question. To get a truck with no money down, I mean, as you can see, is you have to have a hell of a credit, right? Your credit have to be super dope to get a truck. And to be quite frankly, I haven't seen it done yet. I've seen it done in cars, but I haven't seen it done yet in trucks. Somebody say they walked into a dealership and left with a truck without putting nothing down. Usually I know it could be between 7 to 13% down payment based on your credit. But the better the credit, the lower the interest rate is on that truck, the lower your monthly payment is, the more money you can make on a passive income. But to answer that question, you have to have good credit. I haven't seen it yet, but you just put me to some homework. I'm going to do my research to see if it's ever been done. But from my own experience, I never walked into a dealership and I walked away with a truck because my credit was good. It was always because I had at least $10,000 down payment. Hope that answered your question, Vicky. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. Ooh, we got more questions. What's the coverage insurance? What's the average insurance cost, high end and low end for someone just getting started? Yes, insurance is a big headache in transportation, especially if you don't have the experience as a driver. Because what the insurance want to know, how long you been a truck driver, number one. And also now what they want to know is how long you've been in business, right? So the newer the business is, the higher the insurance rate is going to be. And the least experience that you have as a truck driver yourself, the higher you're going to pay. So for example, for me with 17 years experience, and let's just say I get a good truck, and, you know, with experience with building multiple businesses before, I will get a break from the insurance, but it will still be high. But it won't be as high as someone that's just getting into the industry that just, you know, became a truck driver or owner operator, and now they want to get their own insurance. The insurance company is going to run laps around, you know, individuals like that. But great question. The team and I also are working. We haven't really talked about the insurance part yet, but the team and I are really working on a great concept that can help entrepreneurs, owner operators to minimize their insurance costs. And wait till you guys hear about it. I think it's going to blow your mind. But I don't want to put it out there yet because it haven't been finalized. And I don't want to get everybody all hyped and then we didn't deliver on it. So as soon as I get a little bit more information on that, as soon as we get the confirmation we're good to go, I will be explaining to you guys how do you find the best insurance with the lowest cost so you can run a good operation and bring some money yourself. Monthly cost average for a truck, let's just say truck costs about, let's just say $60,000, right? Average insurance probably going to be just about $1,800 to about $2,200 per month. And that's also going to be based on what the truck is worth, right? What are you going to insure? You're going to insure the entire the truck's worth or another amount. So if the truck is a brand new truck, pre-owned truck, $60,000, you want to make sure that you get your truck fully covered. Just make sure that if anything happened, that, you know, you can get another truck and get back up and running. So you don't want to get a lower, on your truck and just to lower your payment. But either way, they're going to have fun with you. And I've heard people paying up to $3,000 per month in insurance, especially if they don't have no experience. Big shows you stop. If you buy a fairly used truck, if you buy a fairly used truck, what do I need to look for? Like mileage and warranty. Well, so when you're buying a used truck, so the truck, usually trucks are made to run a whole lot of miles, right? We have trucks that's running about 1 million miles on them. Now, one engine that I did love when I was an owner operator is Caterpillar C15, which they don't make anymore. So there's a lot of new engines out there, guys. I am not the best versed person to tell you under the hood of the truck, right? I've been a driver, I've been a business operator. That's one thing I haven't done is diesel mechanic, right? So I can't tell you exactly what to look for. But from my experience, the things that I've learned and research on how you find a good truck is, I think there's a simple math that I've learned that I can share with you guys. What it is that usually you could buy a used truck between 300,000, maybe 400,000, 500,000 miles on it, right? And that's still pretty high. And one way to find out if the mileage on that truck is too high that you're buying is, number one, you need to find out what was that original warranty on that truck and to up to how many miles did it cover. So let's say a brand new truck and they said that covers the warranty up to 100,000 miles, right? Now, when you're buying that truck secondhand, what you want to do is you want to take that original warranty coverage on the mileage and you times it by 5, right? So once you time it by 5, that can tell you exactly, is this too high? And you fall under the 500,000 range or above 500,000, you know that you got a truck that has too much mileage on it, and you should really look a little bit more on how you make sure that you either get in the next maybe 18 months, you might have to do build the motor over. But once again, once you do that, you can also build the engine over, and it could get you another 500,000 miles. So that's the beauty of trucks. So it depends on the engine. I know Caterpillar used to cost about $30,000 to rebuild the engine, but with these new engines that they're having now, it could cost you about up to what, 10, 15 grand, you understand, to get your engine rebuilt. And once that is rebuilt, that's like a brand new truck again, and that truck could give you another 500,000 miles, up to another 1 million miles. Ready to buy a truck and lease on? Good question. Ready to buy a truck and lease on. I'm not sure when you're saying lease on, are you ready to lease on with another trucking company, or are you ready to get your own DOT, your own MC number, and want to have your truck on a fleeting platform? Hold 1 second. Yeah, if you want to own a truck and kind of put it on the fleeting platform, where your truck will be dispatched 365, 24/7. However you want to do it, Rome. Like I said, you have my number. Reach out to me. But the best thing you can do right now, if you have the cash for the down payment for the truck, if you already have some trucks that you're looking at, feel free to send them my way. I can take a look myself and kind of help you navigate that decision process to see if you're getting the right truck. Once you're ready to get your DOT, MC number, all these permits, please reach out again. We are partnering with another company that will kind of help with that entire process, make it a lot easier so the owner operators or the entrepreneurs don't have to do it themselves. So any questions that you have on that end, feel free to reach out. You have my number. I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. All right, hold 1 second. Maybe I just have one last message, guys. So yeah, guys, so we're getting ready to close this up now. If you are interested in our owner-operator guideline or learnings, please leave your email, reach out in my DM, send me your phone number, and send me your email address. Like I said, anyone you know as well that's interested in getting those information, please feel free to share their email, phone number in our DM, and we'd be more than happy to share everything with you guys. Let's continue building this community. Truckers, we really appreciate you guys. My hat down to you. I really appreciate you. I love you. Everything that you guys done for this country. I don't want you guys to feel like it's being done in vain. Yes, I know the world have this sense of kind of forgetting about us, like we don't exist. But I know exactly what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. I know the hard work that you guys are putting. And this is why I'm so passionate about Fleeting. This is why I'm so passionate about building this community. I want truck drivers to live the best life. I want the truck drivers to be able to reap the best benefit of running their own trucking company. So when I say I really mean it, I love you guys. I really appreciate the hard work that you're doing, and all the followers that are coming on to get educated and become entrepreneurs. Guys, let's make it happen. We know right now the market is kind of like at a standstill, but let's not panic. The next 3 to 6 months is going to be open market. A lot of trucking companies have already gone out of business. So that means there's a lot of opportunities on the table for us to come in. Our goal by 2024 is to create by 2022, not 2024. Our goal is to create 5,000 entrepreneurs, right? What does that mean? 5,000 entrepreneurs means that's 5,000 trucks, right? People will own. And each truck will need about 2 drivers to fully maximize that truck for the week for that entrepreneur. So 5,000 entrepreneur automatically mean 10,000 jobs for truck drivers and maybe another 1,100 jobs for call centers and dispatchers. So when we're saying let's come together and build this community, we're not just talking about just the opportunity and money that we can make, but the values that we want to add into everyone's life. The money will come and follow after. But it needs everyone to be aligned. Truck drivers, owner operators, entrepreneurs, we all need to be aligned for the same mission, and we all have to have each other's back so we can make this thing to bring it to reality. Like I said, I'm here. I want to lead the way. Use me, reach out. My Instagram is there. If you have any questions, please DM me. If you're interested about it as well, please send me an email and phone number and where you're located, and we'll get these things to you. So once again, thank you guys. We're trucking weekly on Sundays with yours, Pierre Laguerre. It was a great evening speaking with you guys. I know everyone have everything to do. It's a beautiful Sunday, so I'm not going to hold you up any longer. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. See you Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. Do not forget, guys, Thursday, 7 p.m. Let's go live. And once again, don't forget to share this with a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend to tell another trucker. Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend. Bless.